top is the same colour as my skin tone. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So a few things, it's boiling hot today, so I haven't got my usual lighting set up because I just could not face sitting under those lights, and also a couple of my windows are open, so there might be a little bit of background noise, so I'm really sorry, but I don't want to be drenching in sweat doing this video. So before we get into this, do the usual, subscribe to my channel, the button's down there, or you can click here as well. So as you probably guessed by the title, this video is all about my ethnicity, and the reason I thought this subject even deserved a video of its own is it's because it's a question I've been asked pretty much my whole life by loads of different people, and you know what, I find ethnicities really interesting. I find mixed backgrounds really interesting as well. I think there's nothing cooler than loads of different cultures coming together and kind of creating its own culture, if that makes sense. I think it's really cool and really interesting as well. So I do understand why people are constantly asking where I'm from. When people ask that, I never know where to answer. Oh, I'm from Hampshire in London, or oh, you mean my ethnic where I'm from. Very awkward question. So one thing I have noticed is I'm quite difficult to place as far as my ethnicity. On Instagram, on Snapchat, I get a lot of people, and on YouTube, I get a lot of people commenting saying, oh, you look like my friend, or you look like this actor. And these people are usually Greek, they're usually Turkish, and they're usually Indian. And a lot of people usually presume my ethnicity is where they're from, if that makes sense. So if you're Indian, you probably think I'm Indian. If you're Turkish, you probably think I'm Turkish. If you're Spanish, you probably think I'm Spanish. Not in general, that's just kind of like what I've kind of noticed. The reason I haven't talked about my ethnicity, and you guys always ask me and I never really give you a straight answer, is because I kind of like the fact that you don't really know where I'm from. You don't really know what my exact nationality is, what my background is, all that kind of stuff, what my ethnicity is. I kind of like that. I feel like I like the fact that a few of you guys are able to relate to me in a sense that I look like you. I look like quite a few of you guys, and no matter where you're from, you know, I can be on one part of the world or I can look like someone else from another part of the world, and I really like that. I like the fact that there's kind of like a very blurred line there. In no way am I trying to be different ethnicities. Look how shiny my forehead is. So I thought it'd make a really interesting video. That's why I've been holding off for quite a long time. I went on Ancestry.com and ordered a DNA test. Now, these take a while to come, and they take a while to obviously test in the labs and the results get back to you. So it has been a long time. So yeah, as I said, I went on Ancestry.com, ordered this little kit, and you have to spit into a test tube, as you can see from this incredibly blurry footage I shot. It's so difficult to get that much spit. I don't know about anyone else that did it, but I don't know how I managed to fill up that tube. And you just mix it with like a solution type thing, and then you send it back. Then I waited just over 2 months to get my results back. So it was partly quicker than I thought it was going to be, but it was kind of fine. I was alright waiting that long because I kind of forgot about it, if that makes sense. It had been such a long time, I completely forgot. Then one morning I woke up to an email saying my results are in, so of course I was going to do this like whole checking my results live with you guys, but I kind of thought I already knew what the results were going to be because it was that clear in my head what I was made up from, like all the ethnicities I was made up from. But there were a few surprises, so I'm kind of gutted I didn't film that, and I had to phone my parents after and be like, what is this? Why does it say this? Like, I didn't think I was adopted or anything. I was just like, I don't understand what part of the family this comes from. So first of all, I'm going to tell you what I thought I was. A lot of you guys know I am actually very mixed. I live in the UK. I was born and raised in the UK, in England. I am English, so my dad, I believed, and still believe, is English and Scottish. So my nan, his mum was English, and my granddad, his dad was Scottish. So yeah, that's kind of all I thought of that side of the family. So I thought that made up quite a bit of my ethnicity, seeing as my mum is English and Mexican. That's where the brown comes from. So yeah, so I obviously then presumed that I was pretty much 3/4 of my genetic makeup was the UK, Scottish and English. Caucasian, I don't know what the correct thing is for that. Wait, yeah, so that would make me quarter Mexican and the rest Scottish and English, because my mum's half Mexican, half English. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. But then on that Mexican side, my nan had always said like she thought there was a few like Eastern European connections. She mentioned Russia, so I always thought there was a bit of Russian in there somewhere, but not really sure where from. But that was all very unclear, so we didn't really know we didn't really know. So when people always ask my ethnicity, I would always say I'm mixed English, basically UK, and quarter Mexican. That's what I thought I was. So, cut to getting the DNA results. I say that's what I thought I was because there were a few differences. A few things I didn't expect to see in there, which I think can all be very easily explained with history and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to read them out to you, kind of how they break it down. They break it down by percentages, so what you are most and what you are least, and then finally trace, which means it's not really worth counting. It's kind of what everyone has within them, if that makes sense as well. Okay, so here we go. This is officially my ethnic background, my ethnicity, according to my DNA. So like I said, we're going to start off with trace. This is not really worth counting. It's kind of what everyone has within them from what I've been seeing on other DNA result videos and all that kind of stuff. So, 2% West Asian, doesn't even say whereabouts, it's 2%. Again, not really worth counting. 2% Asia in general, and then 4% Africa. A lot of people I saw on the DNA results all have that. Again, it's that theory that we're all from Africa, I suppose. We're all derived, like our ancestors all kind of spread out from there, or something like that. So yeah, that's interesting, and you know, even though it's trace, I kind of feel that's just as important. But of course, I would never go around going, I'm African. The only thing is not. It's trace results, like trace amount. So next up, we have 9% Irish. Now, this is an odd one to me because I never really thought about that. I knew I was Scottish and English. The surname Welsh is actually an Irish name. A lot of people think it's Welsh, which should just be stupid. It's actually an Irish surname when I looked into it on the Ancestry website. So that kind of makes sense. So again, it's a very small percentage, so that could be quite a bit back in the family, but that's kind of interesting. That will probably obviously have something to do with the English side of my family, or could be my English granddad on my mum's side of the family, not sure. Next up is 14% Great Britain, which really confused me because I thought that was almost 3/4 of what my genetic makeup was. I thought that was from my dad being Scottish and English, and then my mum being half English as well. I thought that would be very, very dominant in me, very prominent. I thought that would be nearly everything, seeing as I believed I was only quarter Mexican. So yeah, I thought that would be a lot more than that. Then we have 17% Iberian Peninsula, basically Spain. This is what nearly every Mexican person, every Spanish, every South American person has in them, from what I saw on other people's DNA results. Makes sense that they came over from kind of that Spanish region over to South America to Mexico. Oh, the reason I know all this as well is because once you click on your regions on Ancestry.com, they give you a little breakdown of how that could have been in the history of that country, and how that could be your genetic makeup, and like I'm saying, the shifting of people from country to country. So that's really interesting. This is the most confusing bit for me. 25% Scandinavia. What? So we're talking those countries just above Great Britain there, usually Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. I mean, my geography is so bad. 25%, which is a lot, given the fact that it makes sense that a lot of Scottish people will have Scandinavian in them, going back to the Viking kind of times, all that kind of stuff. I really don't sound clever here. History's not my thing, but from reading this Ancestry, like what Ancestry.com tell you, it kind of makes sense, but 25% is a lot more than what I thought it was going to be. Does that make sense? Like, I didn't think I thought there'd be more UK in me than there was Scandinavian. So it could be that Scottish bit, but it's not as filtered down as most UK people would have in their results. 25% Scandinavian is a big chunk of my genetic DNA compared to the 9%, 15% that UK people would usually find within their results. So I find that really interesting, whether there's obviously Scandinavian in that Scottish side, or whether the Eastern European that my nan referred to was actually some type of Scandinavian area. maybe they moved from Scandinavia to Russia, then down. I don't know, it's all very confusing. This is why I really want my parents to do this, because I want to see where exactly this Scandinavian side is coming from, and I think I'm pretty sure where this Irish side is coming from. Then we have, then we have 24% Native American, so that would be mixed with the Iberian Peninsula, that would be my Mexican side. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. I wasn't surprised by that. When I first saw Native American, I was like, what? And then I kind of realised that Mexicans were kind of made up of Native Americans, people from Iberian Peninsula, lots of different kind of countries, which is really, really cool. So kind of surprised by that, but not really as well at the same time. I just think that's really cool. So yeah, that was only 24% and Scandinavia was 25%, but mixed with the Iberian Peninsula and the Native American, that kind of gives me like over 30% Mexican, basically. So it's a little bit more than I thought I was. I thought I was dead on like 25% Mexican, whatever that was going to be made up of. So I'm not surprised by any of the results. I'm kind of a little bit, I need to know more about the history of the Scottish and the UK kind of section of it, work out where exactly that Scandinavia is coming from, why it's such a high percentage, and then I also want to know a little bit more about that Irish kind of side of it. Again, it's a very, very small amount, it's 9%, but I don't know, I think that's kind of really cool. Obviously Scottish is going to show up within the UK, so it's kind of cool that I've got a bit of all of the UK, Great Britain, all that kind of within me, so I think that's really, really cool. I want to know a lot more about that. So yeah, so to answer your question, and to be scientific about it, I'm Mexican, Scandinavian, Great British, and a little bit Irish as well. I think I'm obviously still going to say that I'm English and Mexican. That's the culture I was brought up in. That's what I know. Saying that, obviously I'm not neglecting anything that is within me as well. But I need to know more about the Scandinavian side. I want to know more about other parts of it before I then start being like, yes, I have this in me and I have that in me. But yeah, I'm really glad I did that. It was about 100 quid. Including packaging, like postage and packaging. It's worth it. I mean, if I was dead set on my ethnicity, I thought I knew exactly what I was, 25% Mexican, 45% no. Maths isn't my thing either, so I thought it was quarter Mexican, the rest English, the rest UK. That's what I was dead set on. So it's kind of interesting to see that Irish, Scandinavia, and just kind of Native American was cool as well, even though I kind of already knew that. This is really cool, this is great for me to know, but what I love about my mix is that I do look like I can be from anywhere, and I have the same skin tone as a guy in Greece, a guy in Italy, a guy in India, a guy in Spain. We have the same skin type. When it comes to my channel and my particular forte, I keep doing that today, and my particular forte, which is hair and skin, we got the same kind of skin types, the same kind of hair. I'm just kind of glad that that can bring us all together. You should always appreciate your ethnicity, your race, and where you come from, and celebrate your cultures, but I do like that we're able to intertwine, we're able to share similarities with each other, we're able to appreciate each other's cultures as well. Since being on YouTube, it's taught me a lot about different cultures in the sense that I'm kind of discovering other cultures and other countries. Obviously you guys know I'm obsessed with Korea and Japan. Recently I've been getting more into Indian culture. My third biggest subscription on here is India, and you guys from India are so cool and so nice, and we chat a lot on like Instagram and Snapchat and that, so I kind of naturally be more into your culture when it comes to music and films and food and skincare and hair care. Do you know what, like loads of different bits of India, and like for the first time in my life I want to discover India a lot more. And I think that's really cool that while we are aware of our own separate cultures and proud of our own ethnicities and where we come from, it's kind of really cool to celebrate others and enjoy other people's cultures and experience it a bit more. You open your eyes to like what the world has to offer. I think it's really weird that just because you're born in one country and born in one culture, that you should only be interested in that and not want to look into other people's music and foods and fashions and, you know, different countries. I just find it very, very odd. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I know this has been a long time coming, and I know I've been so annoying and not answering your questions about my ethnicity. This is the reason why, so I hope that answered your questions. Factually, you know me, I like to have my facts and my research behind everything I say when it comes to presenting it to you guys. So sorry for the wait, but I'm kind of glad I did it this way. But that's it from me, guys. Follow me on Snapchat, all the usual kind of stuff, etc, etc, and I will see you next time.